Hello folks, well we're out and about on another leg of the Northumberland Coastal Path. I've done it the right way this week. I've put the car at the finish line and busted it back to the start. Ended up with a bit of a cock up last week because they changed to winter timetables on the buses. So I've just walked out of Belford and I'm heading down through the fields. I don't know if you can hear this. There's an absolute hum with buzzy bees, like to the point it could be a bit dodgy if you think I'm going to get attacked by a swarm. But so got myself a new GoPro as well because my other one's gone a knacker, although I haven't had a chance to sort out selfie sticks and all the accessories yet. I'm going to get one of them wind slayer muffs, but thankfully the sun is out and it isn't windy, so which is a lot different from last week. Last week's ones I've still got to, I had to do it on my phone. I've got to upload it to the cloud, download it off the cloud, link it all together. I've had about 2 hours on it so far and I haven't really started editing yet, so fingers crossed this will be more simple. But just passing along a little stream, a nice looking house in the distance. And again, it's another stretch that isn't by the coast itself at the minute, so we'll just follow the path. Oops, good job I'm slim and can get through these gates, through a field of cows with calves. I'm not in the mood for running, so I hope they're in a good mood. Catch you in a bit. So far so good. There's a little bit of a Belford's back away in the distance. I don't know whether you're going to pick any of that up. So I've walked through 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 fields, slightly incline all of the way, and it's nice. There's little copse of mature oak trees just here, bit of woodland over there, rolling hills and fields, and well, more fields and hills to be fair. And it's just, there's hardly any wind, so you can hear all the birds of prey, seagulls, grouse, all having a chirp, and there's no wind, which is a joy. So I'll poke my head over this wall. Oh, some wild Cheviot goats dressed up as sheep in a field. But as you can see, it's beautiful. There's a ridge in the distance just across the way with a pillbox on the top. I fancy going and having a look at that at some point. So far so good. So it would appear that I'm actually cross country stilt walking this morning. You get a good view on these 10-foot stilts. But what a joy. So we're now in quite an elevated position. You probably won't pick this up in the distance, but we can now see the sea. Lindisfarne Castle's got the sun gleaming on it in the distance, but I mean it is only a speck in the distance. And this part of the path, skirting along the edge of a farmer's field, which is the Northumberland Coastal Path, but also St Cuthbert's Way. And I'm amazed how untrodden the path is. There's hardly any, I mean, considering it's quite damp underfoot, there's hardly any fresh footprints at all. There's a few, but you just expect it to be a bit more foot traffic down here. But I've picked the day for it. We're now dropping down towards Swinhoe Farm. I've walked past here a few times in the past, and I think there's a riding school. In fact, yeah, as people arrive, I think there's a great big barn there with oh yeah, there's quite a few cars. Not entirely sure where the path is. Follow this field round. So again, are you going to pick it out right in the distance? Where are we? Tree, about there is Lindisfarne. The sun's catching it lovely. I mean, it is a long way off. Saturday morning, it would appear the riding centre's very busy. Cars coming and going like nobody's business. So I did walk up this track once before, a long time ago, looking for Cuthbert's Cave. Didn't find it. I think it was my map reading skills that weren't the best. So that's still on the bucket list because I've never actually been and had a mooch at that one. I think we didn't park in the... I don't think this was the best place to park. But there's loads of little birds about this morning. Walking past the farm there, I think they're all in, feeding on the stored grain, the barley and that they must grind up for the cows in the winter. They're all having a free bellyful. I'm surprised they could take off. They were packing it away. They've just stumbled across this very tranquil little lake. I think it's on private land and there's barbed wire fences around it. I don't think you can go in, unfortunately, but some lovely autumnal colours starting to come through and nice reflections and that. Little chaffinch just on the branch down there. Now going through a woodland section, and it's still an absolute joy. It's like something off a Disney film, the amount of little birds that are bobbing about and cheeping. And in the last 5 minutes I've seen a wren, a bullfinch, a goldfinch, a robin, a blue tit, a great tit, and then like crows and seagulls and stuff. But what a joy. I hope the microphone's good enough to pick it up. Into a field of cows that look like they're going to come and say hello. But this hillside in the distance over here, that's been absolutely decimated last year with Storm Arwen. I would say there's probably 70-80% of the trees are flattened. Looks like I'm going to get joined by a cow, and it looks like that barbed wire fence could rip me nicky nacky news off if I need to get over it in a hurry. So fingers crossed I don't have to start punching them in the throat. Now we've got a situation. We've got a narrow path and a bullock and a swamp. So here we're going to go, head to head. How's this going to pan out? Come on then, bully. Turn round. Go on then. Daft bugger's just been in here, up to his knees, you can see. Go on. Jog on. I didn't mean really jog, just a little brisk walk would have done. Look at that. I'm glad he knew who was boss there. I wouldn't have fancied ended up in that drink. Ooh, now we've got a view developing. So the tide is out and Lindisfarne is in the distance. What a beautiful view that is. You can't whack this for November. Absolute stunner. So this first section, all the marker posts just been little tags on posts. This is the first proper sign that I've seen for a while. We're just coming alongside here, a little fishing lake, and there's a little cabin tucked away with a chimney on what looks to be a log burner in. And what an idyllic little spot. That's, you see it up there? If that's an Airbnb, I am definitely going to do my own work. Ooh. Little goldfinch in the top of the tree. Is it a yellow? I don't know. Pretty little thing though, the yellow head. Let's have a look. Greymarelookout.com. We shall be .comming you when I'm back at my laptop. Well, it's got water, it's got LPG, and I wouldn't be bothered if it hasn't got electric. Just up in the distance on the hillside up here as well, we've got I can see a trig point, so that'll probably be on my next set of walks to get up there and back that. Another bit of a woody section. After having seen nobody for hours and hours, I've just bumped into about 4 or 5 groups of different walkers. So there's all manner of different stickers on here, but we are going that way. Everybody's kind of just amazed that it's November and it's as warm and as calm and as beautiful as what it is. Just come past a load of berry trees. Some of them are really laden, thick, full of red berries. I always heard a wives' tale that if you get loads of berries, you're going to get a harsh winter. It allows the birds and the wildlife to stock up their reserves and their fat levels and that ready for a harsh winter. So will it or will it not? This tree's interesting up here. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the way the branches on this side curl round and then go point that way, which is a clear indication of which way south is. Good little bushcrafty tip for navigation if you haven't got a compass and you're stuck in a wood where you can't get any sort of bearings on landmarks or crags or hills or anything like that. Another good one, I'll see if I can find an example of it, is where you get moss grows on the north side because it's permanently in the shade. So sod's law, I'll not be able to find anything like it now, but I'll keep looking. I know a lot of people get the hump when they see forests getting cut down, but I've got to say, when you see managed plantations like this and how tightly they pack the trees, and appreciate it's all done for a reason. They pack them tight so that the trees stretch up for light, so they grow tall, so they grow straight, but it just kills everything underneath, doesn't it? It's just dark, middle of the day there, and it's pitch black. I'd much prefer a traditional woodland. So hang on a minute, we have got I think we've got to be on the St Cuthbert's Way still. Shiloh Crag. I think my old gaffer used to go climbing there. Never been there. We'll press on. So we've come down a main forest track. There's a little sign here taking us off 2 miles to Fenwick. So done 2/3 of it, and what a great 2/3 it's been. Thoroughly enjoyed this today. getting greedy. I know I've seen loads of little tweety birds and that, but I quite fancy seeing something a bit different, like a deer or a fox or a yeti or something like that. I'll keep the noise down and my eyes open and see if anything crops up. So I'm sure at some point the path will be cleared, but over here we've got a load of trees down. Again, the aftermath of Storm Arwen. So if you follow these orange arrows, I'm hoping that's the detour. I haven't consulted the map, I'm just using my bushcrafter Crocodile Dundee instinct. Oh, this looks like it's just detouring around a few fallen trees, I hope. If not, I'll bring it back later when it's dark and I'm running around here like the Blair Witch Project. It looks a fair bit of wood sorrel, fairly well trodden track. I can see an arrow over to the left as well. Yeah. I've just found a clearing in the woods where they've done a bit of tree felling and some suitably sized tree stumps. There's a little dry seat raised up, saved me knees. I'm just sitting here taking in the sights and sounds. I'm gutted I haven't got a second. I'm going to get a second battery for this because while I'm sitting here I could have had a lovely time lapse of the clouds coming over the trees, but it's the first time I've used this. I'm not sure how good it is with battery life and stuff, so I don't want to overdo it now and then find out that I missed the ending. There's literally not a sound other than the wind in the trees and birds. Just had a little wren come and sat quite close by. I'm still waiting to see an elusive deer or something like that. I haven't really seen any footprints. I did walk past an old deer chair, you know, like an umpire's chair, where the shooters sit up a height so that they can get the angle right, that had been pushed over and was fallen to bits. So I'm guessing if there's one of them about, there are deer about, but I haven't seen any evidence of them as yet. I've not seen many mushrooms either. The last few weeks when I've been out and about, there's been an abundance, but not a lot. I'll bring you back in a bit. This is a pleasant stretch of path here. So in the distance we've got, see the farms right out in the distance over yonder, and then coming around here you can see the two obelisk type concrete things that you can see from Holy Island and Lindisfarne itself in the distance. And then there's a kind of avenue of old trees and a butterfly, a peacock butterfly fluttering about in November in the sunshine. And I've just seen a couple of jays as well, so again, not a bald eagle, but it's marginally getting more exciting. Look at that for a gnarly old tree. Can I whack a gnarly old tree? So I found one, middle of the day, and as you can see which way the shadow is casting, so middle of the day we know south is in the opposite direction, and if you look closely on this tree you've got all manner of lichen and moss growing up the north side because it's permanently in the shade. And then you come around to the sunny side and there's a little bit, but it's distinctly mossier on the north side. Again, another gnarly old tree that needs a bald eagle sat on the top. suppose another indicator of bushcraft navigation, until they have a good clear up, is all these fallen trees as a consequence of Storm Arwen last year. So anything that's fell down is pointing south because the wind came from the north. Look at that. Bearing in mind I've got size 13 shoes, that is a whopper. I just have no idea whatsoever what it is and whether it's edible. So I'll leave it well alone in case somebody who does know what it is comes past and they can pick it fresh. Look at this for a little seat donated by Mother Nature. Net. I know I've said this a few times on this walk, that the guidebook advises walking south to north, but all bar last week the sun has been out and been shining, and obviously it's winter's drawing in, it's low in the sky. It's far better having the sun on your back without squinting, so you can appreciate the views a bit better. So just bear that in mind if you think about doing the walk. It is something I hadn't even thought about, but a really valuable tip. So I'm now coming down the hill into Fenwick, and my shadow is longer than it's been all day. It's only sort of 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think in terms of navigating, this section, nice little bench to have a rest on there. It's been pretty easy. I've not had to refer to the map once, and magpie. Not had to refer to the map once. There was just that one little minor detour where some trees had come down blocking the path as we were going through the woods. But other than that, I think the weather does make it, in all honesty. I think last week was a bit grey, a bit rainy. Wasn't disastrous, but it definitely brings the best out in you, getting a bit of vitamin D on your back, and not having to worry about waterproofs, and that, which is a good job because I forgot mine today. So, but now, nice sky. I'll bring you back at the very end, but this is Fenwick village. We're just approaching there, so only a few hundred yards and we're done. Well, that's me back in the car, and what a thoroughly enjoyable morning. It's only been a relatively short one today, about 6 miles, so it's just been nice. And only word of caution regarding the buses. When I first got here this morning, and it talks about the bus stop at Fenwick Bridge, so on the northbound side of the A1, it's immediately obvious where the bus stop is because there's a proper bus shelter. On the southbound side, it is just over the road and a little bit further south, just past the junction for the road. I was driving up and down having a bit of a panic, thinking, and I drove into the village thinking there might be a bus stop here, but because it's on the almost like the slipway coming out of the junction that's opposite, you just think it's the slipway, but it's painted on the road in yellow that it is a bus stop. So just one to be aware of. But hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one.